Hello and welcome to the Trending Now podcast for this Friday, December the 15th, 2023. Thanks for checking us out however you found us. I'm your host, Louie Butko, and coming up on today's show, Blue Jays fans still feeling the sting almost a week after two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani finally makes a decision and signs with the LA Dodgers. The Golden Globe nominations are out, with summer blockbuster Barbie leading the way with 9 nominations, including Best Actress, Best Actor, and Best Director. Sad news from the world of Hollywood, where Andre Braugher, best known for his role as Captain Raymond Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, has passed away at the age of 61. And the latest from Ukraine following a busy week for President Volodymyr Zelenskyy as he visits both the U.S. and European Union, looking for more support as the war with Russia stretches into its 26th month. Emily Tayler is hosting Trending Now and joins us coming up later on. But first, we start with that punch in the gut, that being Shohei Ohtani last week. So I was off last Friday. Laura Sebben's here, our producer, Trending Now co-creator.
Hello.
Last Friday, I was off. And I was pretty glad. I'm not that I didn't want to be here, but I was pretty glad to be off because it was chaotic last Friday on what Shohei Ohtani was going to be doing.
It was. I was like super anxious all day because I started the day being like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I know what it's like to be a Toronto sports fan. I'm not getting my hopes up. And then I slowly started getting my hopes up. And when he didn't sign, I might have shed a few tears.
I just remember thinking, like, yes, I am so in. He's on this plane. It's happening. Trusted reporters are saying this. There's an LA Dodgers blog is saying he's made his decision. He's going to Toronto. And then, like you say, I've been a Toronto sports fan for a very, very long time. I should have known not to get my hopes up.
Yeah, I was like, it could just be like a talk, like what's happening? And then, you're sad. I was sad because I was like, there were the rumors for Juan Soto, and then there were the rumors for him, and I was like, now what? As much as I love the Blue Jays and as much as I think they have potential, we've had this squad for 2 years now, and they've crapped the bed.
Yep.
And I feel like part of that is on management, and I feel like part of that is on them not really having anyone in like a leadership position. And I was like, maybe getting someone like this or someone like Juan Soto could be like an extra fire under their asses to get them hyped up and could lead them in this like winning direction that we all know they're capable of. And it's not just Toronto fans, because a lot of people were on the Jays bandwagon at the start of last season thinking they were gonna, potentially be World Series champions. So I was just bummed because I'm like, now what? Like, now what are we getting?
Cody Bellinger, JD Martinez.
Maybe,
there's some players out
like,
there.
What's the holdup? The Royals made a big move today. Like, what are we doing? What's the holdup?
What is going on? Well, in case you missed it, Ohtani, of course, it was rumored that he was on his way to Toronto to sign a deal with the Jays. But by late afternoon, it was clear that inaccurate reporting from certain baseball journalists and the magic of the internet had combined to mutate an untruth into a believable possibility. He signed a deal, 10 years worth, a record $700 million, although he will defer $680 million of that until after the contract is up. So he's only going to be making $2 million a year in hard cash. And everybody's praising him for what a great teammate. What a great teammate, Ohtani. You're like totally anti-Ohtani now?
I'm not anti-Ohtani. I think what he's doing means that he really cares about the sport and about winning and about the team that he
also makes about $35 to $40 million a year on endorsements.
Yeah.
That's the most by far anyone in baseball.
So I think he really genuinely like cares about winning with his team and cares about growing this team, which is why he did that. The only like kind of salt I have would be like, you're saying these trusted baseball reporters. I don't appreciate the Blue Jays being used, or not even the Blue Jays fans being like used as
playing
pawns.
with our emotions like that.
Just because they wanted more money where he really wanted to go. Like, whether or not that was his decision, I thought that was like a little bit shady, because those guys both came out and were like, we have sources. We've been in this business. We're not going to report stuff we don't feel confident in. So they purposely got fed false information.
Well, and everybody seemed in on this because there was the one story last week where it's like everybody was asking. Ohtani posted a picture of him and his dog.
Mm-hmm.
People were like, what's your dog's name? And then it became out that like, oh, sorry, like you won't find out the dog's name because it has something to do. And then yesterday at the press conference, he says his dog's name is Decoy. His dog's name, it loosely translated, I think it was Decope or something like that. But he said loosely translated, it's Decoy. So he knew exactly what he was doing. Robert Herjavec, my least favorite dragon right now.
A CAA agent.
A CAA guy. He's represented by CAA. Everybody knew what they were doing.
I know.
It could have been Robert Herjavec could have said, no, guys, that's my plane. Somebody in LA could have said that's Robert Herjavec's plane. Like yes, I would agree. I think the Blue Jays were used. And meanwhile, in all this, Blue Jays pitcher Yusei Kikuchi was forced to clear up some gossip of a 50-person sushi party on Friday that fueled some of these rumors. Kikuchi taking to Instagram today saying, I wanted to make clear that I did not have a sushi party last Friday. I can eat sushi for 50-plus people, but I certainly never had a sushi party with 50-plus people.
Yeah.
So you're bringing Kikuchi into this, and Kikuchi and Ohtani, obviously close friends. Whether or not, Kikuchi was in on this.
He probably wasn't.
They're friends. They're buddies. And I'm not just saying that because they're Japanese baseball players.
No, I know. They went to the same high school.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't like it. I'm going to boo him. I'm going to go to the game. I'm going to boo him.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, he deserves to be booed.
But...
He boo! Boo! I'm booing him right now. Boo!
But was it? I don't know. Like how much say did he have in that whole debacle? I also don't appreciate.
He's the player. He can do whatever he wants.
I feel like he could have been like.
He didn't even say anything nice about it.
No, I know. He just said it was funny. I was laughing about it. And I was like, you could have at least been like, yeah, the Blue Jays were in consideration. They're a great team. Like, I'm salty.
You are salty.
I'm salty.
All right, well, let's try and get you a little less salty. Awards season is almost upon us, and the nominees for the 81st Golden Globes were announced this week. Barbie leading the pack with 9 nominations, making it the second most nominated film in Golden Globe history. It's got the most noms of any movie, as mentioned, with nominations for Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, and Greta Gerwig. That's her first nomination in the directing category. That seems surprising.
Crazy.
She got an Oscar nomination, though, didn't she?
Yes.
Okay, but the Golden Globe, that was like a whole story when Little Women wasn't nominated, right? Everybody thought it was a bit of a snub.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the years where there was like several movies that were in contention for Best Director that had women directing the movie, and then I think that was one of the years where it was like all men nominated. So
are you? I mean, no surprise on the Barbie. I haven't seen Barbie yet. I'm going to admit it. I have not seen Barbie yet. I'm waiting for it to be on
today.
Yeah, today.
Crave, yeah.
Crave?
Yeah,
today?
yeah.
Okay.
So my sister's been waiting because she wants my mom to watch it.
Okay, because I know. So next Crave, we're giving them. They don't need any. Next week on the 22nd, I know they're promoting the new Spider-Man, the multiverse.
Yeah, and
December 22nd.
We're not going to promote Crave here, but
no.
And I also don't want to promote Prime either. But next week on Thursday, Saltburn is coming out on Prime.
Oh, that
got a nomination.
The Riley, what's the guy's name?
Barry Keoghan. And Jake Lordy. I watched that movie in theaters. Wild ride.
I heard there's a scene or something.
There's several scenes
that
where you're like,
you want to walk out of the.
Not even walk out. It's just you almost feel like uncomfortable, like watching him with other people.
And the director is taking a lot of credit for that. Like she loves the fact that it makes people uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, because that's like the whole idea is you're supposed to feel.
Is it cringe? Is it a cringe feeling?
Yeah, like you want to claw your eyes out.
Okay, real quick. Okay, going through best motion picture, drama, and comedy.
Yes.
All of them. Anatomy of a Fall. Seen it?
No, not yet.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
No, not yet.
Maestro.
No, not yet.
Oppenheimer?
Yes.
I haven't seen Oppenheimer. Past Lives.
Not yet.
The Zone of Interest.
Not yet.
Comedy. Air.
No.
American Fiction.
No, that's
Barbie.
not out yet. That comes out today, American Fiction.
In theaters?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Barbie, you've seen The Holdovers?
No.
May, December? How is May, December a musical comedy?
That's crazy to me.
That's the one that's
about
the Mary Kay, not Mary Kay Letourneau, Mary something.
Yeah, Mary, in New Zealand. Oh my God. Got too close.
Oh, May, December. That's the one with...
in New Zealand, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Moore?
That's the issue. People give the Golden Globes crap all the time for that because they're like, why? Like you want these movies to be nominated, so you like loosely categorize them as like dark comedy, so you can slide them into.
How is that a comedy? It's about
really
like
not.
a teacher who has a relation with her student, and then she's playing her. Yeah, Julianne Moore. Rosamund Pike for Saltburn. You said I have not seen any movies this year.
I have seen a lot.
Looking at these, I haven't seen any movies.
I've seen a lot, but like stupid movies.
Succession nominated for 9 in the TV category.
Let's go.
I forgot that show ended this year.
Right?
Like, because didn't it end in like January, I want to say?
Earlier, yeah.
What is cinematic and box office achievement? What is that?
That's a new category, actually. They've never done it before.
It had to have a certain amount at the box office, I think. Was this just a way to get Taylor Swift a Golden Globe nomination?
Honestly, I think so. I think so.
Let's make a new category that everything will fit in.
I think so.
Golden Globes are also great because, as we mentioned, it's TV. Abbott Elementary, that's a great show. Ted Lasso.
The Golden Globes are the best. Like, if
you bring in movie people.
Yeah, but that's not the reason why they're the best. They're the best because the people attending, so all the actors, get absolutely hammered at the table. Yeah. So it makes the night better because their speeches and stuff are like more funny because they're usually drunk. But
TV, I haven't seen The Bear yet.
Neither have I. My sister said it's
I've heard good things about Jury Duty. I've seen The Morning Show, Succession, but I am so far behind.
I know.
It just happens where like one day you wake up and you're like, damn, I'm old and I can't keep up with all these shows.
When they come out with this stuff, specifically for the movies, I make myself a list and I try to watch it all before the Oscars happen. So the Oscar, I get a jump start because the nominations for the Oscars don't even come out until I believe it's January 23rd this year. And so I watch them all so that I can actually like validly be like, that movie didn't deserve to win.
Plus we do contests here at work sometimes and you want to win those.
Well, but I also like, when I say like that movie didn't deserve to win, my family likes to challenge me on that sometimes. They're like, well, did you even see it? And so then I like to be like, yeah, actually I did.
What we don't know, is who's going to host it.
I know.
There's a bit, not really a controversy, but a lot of people have reportedly turned down the gig. Chris Rock among them, Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes. They host the very popular Smartless podcasts. Yep. They've turned it down. Set for January 7th, the first to kick off award season. Then they moved up the Emmy Awards too, that everything kind of happens in.
Well, the Emmys normally are in September, but because of the actor and writer strike, they couldn't do them. So they're happening in the new year. And then the Grammys usually happen near the end of February.
And
Oscars same time around end of February, early March is when they happen. I don't entirely know when they're going to be this year.
Well, big weekend plans is catching up on all the Golden Globe nominations.
Pretty much, yeah.
I can watch the Barbie movie on some sort of streaming service. Not going to mention their name again.
Yeah, like a lot of the movies, like they aren't out yet. So like I've made my list, but I have to wait for them to either come into theaters in the first place or be available for streaming. Like Killers of the Flower Moon was in theaters a while ago, but it's a really long movie. And after Oppenheimer, I was like, I don't know if I want to sit through another like 3.5 hour movie on a serious topic. And I knew it was streaming on Apple TV. It's out now, but you have to buy it. So they still haven't made it available for streaming. And I'm like,
because
can you let me watch this movie?
I watched it at home. And like I was able to break it up into pieces because it was a very long movie. Yep. I have no attention. I do not have an attention span to sit for 3 hours and watch a movie. Yeah. So anyway, big plans for the weekend?
For once, no. I am seeing Wonka tonight.
Okay.
My boy Timothy.
You missed him at Yorkdale.
Listen, I don't want to talk.
You missed him at Yorkdale.
If I knew he was there, I literally would have left work. Sorry, Greg and Sue. I would have been like, bye. I have to go see Chalamet.
Is he
Did you see his hair?
Is he still dating the Kardashian?
Unfortunately. But did you see his hair?
No.
It looked so nice.
What does he do? What can he do what does he do that I can do? Does it just have to be more on the side?
He did it. It's longer now, so he brought it forward.
Like
and
this?
You would have to like dry it better and curl it.
Curl it naturally?
It doesn't really work when you don't have like more curls.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't going to say anything mean. Just more
you were getting there. Enjoy your nothing this weekend. Should be a lot of fun. Great nails.
Christmas theme.
Mike, nothing. Actually, we got a big work bowling party coming up this weekend. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking part in that. I know. Yeah, I know. It's okay.
because I have other plans.
I know you do. I'm not, listen, you're allowed to have a life outside of this place. And honestly, I think they encourage it. I think so
too.
Laura Sebben, thanks for doing this. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Louie.
All right, that is Laura Sebben. My thanks to her for joining me as we continue on our look at the week that was on Trending Now. Still ahead, Emily Tayler will be joining us. But first, I want to get to this from the Israel-Hamas war, more locally here in North America. Harvard University was trending this week as its president, Claudine Gay, appears to be staying put and will continue to lead the Ivy League school. This, despite calls to fire her over intense backlash from last week's congressional hearing about anti-Semitism on campus. Now, Republican Representative Elise Stefanik repeatedly asked her and fellow presidents of MIT and the University of Pennsylvania if calling for the genocide of Jewish people violated the school's code of conduct. The hearing increased public outcry over how U.S. colleges are handling campus protests since the October 7th Hamas terror attack on Israel and the subsequent war in Gaza that has reportedly claimed more than 18,000 Palestinian lives. Now, Gay did issue a full apology in the student newspaper for her testimony, saying calls for violence against our Jewish community, threats to our Jewish students have no place at Harvard and will never go unchallenged. And over the weekend, 700 staff members rallied behind her. And a statement from the school's board reaffirming support in Gay's leadership said, quote, President Gay is the right leader to help our community heal and to address the very serious societal issues we are facing. But over 70 bipartisan U.S. members of Congress have called for the firings of all three presidents. And despite support of Gay from her faculty, strong criticism remains. Stefanik among them, but Gay is not the only one receiving backlash. While the University of Pennsylvania president Liz McGill later walked back some of her comments in a video on X, it wasn't enough. As many questioned her leadership and wealthy contributors withdrew millions in donations, McGill resigned over the weekend. Meanwhile, calling for an end to the slaughter in Gaza, more than 3/4 of the United Nations voted in favor of demanding Israel stop the war this week. The brief resolution calls for a ceasefire for all parties to comply with international law and for humanitarian access to hostages as well as their immediate and unconditional release. Notably, it contains stronger language than an October vote in the Assembly that had called for a sustained humanitarian truce. Now, this is a direct rebuke of the United States, who have repeatedly blocked ceasefire calls in the UN Security Council. Meanwhile, America and Israel were joined by Liberia, Papua New Guinea, Micronesia, and 5 others in voting against the resolution. And sad news in the world of Hollywood as Andre Braugher, the Emmy-winning actor famous for his police portrayals on Homicide, Life on the Street, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, has died after a brief illness. He was 61. The Chicago-born actor had his breakthrough role in 1989's Glory, starring alongside Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington, playing Union Corporal Thomas Searles in the film. Now, Braugher later established himself in the role of Detective Frank Pembleton, the lead role on the dark police drama Homicide, Life on the Street. Ran for 7 seasons on NBC and won critical acclaim with Braugher as its breakout star. He'd win his first career Emmy for the role, taking the trophy for lead actor in a drama series in 1998. He won his second Emmy for lead actor in a miniseries for his 2006 limited series Thief, and he would be nominated for 11 Emmys overall, including one as Captain Raymond Holt on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and that's where I knew him. Did you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I've seen everything.
As we join Emily Tayler joins us here on the show. That was one of the ones that was like, just kind of like a real punch in the gut. He wasn't sick. It was a brief illness. We didn't know he was sick. He's
only 61.
61.
Yeah.
And even here in Canada, he's become the new spokesperson for Virgin Plus. In the last year, he's been used as the face of Virgin Mobile. So obviously this is unexpected. And this, like I said, punch in the gut. Because I've seen every episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
And he's such an iconic character. He's the father figure. He's so wonderful and lovable, tough on the outside, heart of gold. It was really sad to see that.
Complicated cop, the gay cop detective and all the struggles he went through. And that one was a real punch in the gut. Andre Braugher, dead at the age of 61, but didn't just bring you on to talk about that. One of the latest on what's happening in Ukraine. It's been a very, very busy week for Volodymyr Zelenskyy. He's been all over the place, was at Congress, was at the White House. What's the latest on what's going on with the war in Ukraine?
Yeah, I mean, he really is trying to get funding right now, right? That's his biggest mission, why he's been on really a tour of the world this week. You mentioned Congress, White House. He was in the Nordic countries. He's been speaking with the EU is sort of his latest thing, right? So he wants two main things from the European Union. First is, of course, funding, as he's been saying for a long time. And the second is actually membership for Ukraine. So we're at a bit of a standstill on both. We're slowly inching forward. He has had more success in the membership, which was sort of shocking to anyone who's been watching this for a long time. NATO has been talked about for a long time. Maybe Ukraine can get into NATO. Can the Ukraine become part of the EU? And for a long time, the answer was just like, no, not until the end of the war. So sort of an unexpected announcement yesterday. Most of the EU, of course, we have Hungary saying no to all of these votes, said, yeah, we're going to work towards talks. This isn't a guaranteed membership by any means, but they are opening talks for membership.
You mentioned Hungary, that country being led by Viktor Orban, who has drawn some criticism for maybe an authoritarian style of government there in Hungary. That doesn't stop people like Tucker Carlson or formerly of Fox News. Doesn't stop people like former President Donald Trump praising what Viktor Orban does. What is his issue with Ukraine and its possible membership in EU?
Yeah, well, it's membership and it's the money, right? Okay. Actually, the money was all but one vote. That one veto is Hungary, and that's what stopped.
Needs to be unanimous.
It needs to be unanimous, yes, but that's literally what is stopping Ukraine from getting a deal, which would see, I think it's $50 billion over 4 years in aid. That's a pretty good deal for Ukraine. They really do need this, and there was one vote away, and it was Victor's, and they said, especially about the money, that giving money to Ukraine would be like throwing it out the window. So they just want nothing to do with this. They think essentially it's a lost cause. They don't want to be giving more and more money to it. And of course, as you mentioned, the EU needs unanimous consent. So they are now working around it. That was yesterday. They had the veto vote. Today, the EU has come back and said, hey, even despite this, we're going to try and find a workaround, but it won't happen until at earliest January 2024. So another wait.
We've been looking at, the dysfunction in Washington as of late. Nothing coming, nothing constructive coming out of that. He was here. He was supposed to be on a Zoom chat with lawmakers last week because they're working towards this defense bill that's going to want spending for Ukraine, that's going to want spending for Israel. Republicans are saying, if you want this, we need a lot of funding for the southern border, and that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out in the next few weeks.
At this point, it seems like they're at a standstill, right? The Republicans are still holding strong on that being part of the defense bill of like the southern border defense. Biden is yet again pushing for this. The problem really is that we're now heading to Christmas, right? Lawmakers go on break really soon, and then you just have that extra time where Ukraine is just waiting and seeing, and they're hanging in the balance. There was this really interesting quote, too, that I was reading today. A U.S. military official, unnamed, by the source was unnamed, but saying that without this aid, they're not going to get any further, saying that they're even looking at by the summer, that either being a really critical turning point or even possibly a defeat for Ukraine without more aid from the U.S., from Europe, I mentioned specifically. I'm sure Canada's sort of included in that North American bloc, but not looking good.
And, a lot of the Republican lawmakers, Vivek Ramaswamy saying, presidential candidate, Republican president, he's saying, well, maybe, withholding funding will force them to the table to make a peace deal. Russian President Vladimir Putin having a 4-hour press conference. This is what he does at the end of the year. He does these 4-hour press conferences. He hasn't done it, but he just sits there for 4 years and just talks. He said, there's no way we're going to work towards a peace deal.
No.
Like, there's not, like, Russia is, and there was a really interesting report from the New York Times that said, like, the number of resources that Russia started with, like 360,000 service members. They've lost 315,000 people, like the amount of tanks they're down. So like they can try to wait out Russia, but Russia's very capable of getting people from jails and getting people off the streets and putting them in the front line. Are these people the most deadly killers? No, but
it doesn't matter when you
their
have
bodies.
that power, right? This has always been Russia's strategy through the Crimea most recently, but even in the world wars, right? Their strategy always has been manpower. And just the fact they simply have so many people and they're able to overwhelm an army, especially like Ukraine, which is very, very small. So Ukraine needs to be skillful and tactical and have these resources in order to be able to fight back.
This is a hard right turn to make, but we're going to attempt to do it here. As we shift gears from the war to Taylor Swift.
All right.
Emily Taylor, you happen to share something with Taylor Swift, that being a birthday. So, happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much.
And is that like the first person, like, how proud are you to share a birthday with?
Immensely. So I'm much more of a casual Swiftie now. I enjoy her. I respect a lot of what she's doing. But when I was a kid, oh my God, Taylor Swift's self-titled album, Fearless, that was my jam. That was my number one album. I had them all on CD and I had a little, my Discman I used to carry around.
You're hugging them.
Oh,
Which
yeah,
one
yeah.
is that?
The guitar. That's the self-titled.
That's the self-titled one? Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
So I've known for many, many years that I share a birthday with Taylor Swift.
You said you're not a certified Swiftie. You like her, and I would say the same. I like her music. Are you not kind of sort of getting over it a little bit just because she's everywhere? And again, I don't want her. Laura is afraid of saying anything negative about Taylor Swift. And if you're not comfortable, but she's everywhere. And the Person of the Year, Time Magazine Person of the Year, there were two
that was my
world
story
wars
last week,
going
actually.
on,
Yeah.
right? There were two. This is a good singer.
Yes.
A good songwriter who's dating a football player.
I think that's more than that, though. So
What is it? What is it about Taylor Swift that she not deserves to be Person of the Year? But
so that's the thing is, I don't want to say that I think that she's the most deserving person for Person of the Year by any means, because the world wars are happening.
Yeah.
But we're always going to find something bigger happening than entertainment for sure. But it's not just that she's a singer, right? She's created this entire empire to the point where we talk about her every single day on this show, right?
Yeah.
She is
we do.
breaking boundaries in every single field. Harvard is teaching a course on her now, along with a bunch of other universities, both for the lyricism, of course, but the fact that she is changing laws around streaming and what artists get for compensation. She is changing things around conversations of sexual harassment, even. That was the first time she was on the Time cover in 2017 for that. It's creating spaces where we're able to feel comfortable again going back into the world, and especially if you're teenage girls. And I think that's pretty cool. Do I think that it's above everything else?
Listen, I think that's a really good argument, and I, as somebody who liked her growing up, but wasn't, a teenage girl. Yeah. I guess that's really one of those angles that I don't know, she knows how powerful she is.
Yes, she has.
She steps on stage in front of 100,000 people on a nightly basis, screaming her name.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be her. She's just a person. That's what I mean. We talk about this show, even with us.
Yeah.
When we go out in public, people come up to us and they're like, hey, we watch what you do. And it's hard not to be like, oh, that's really cool. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate who I am. Taylor Swift is on an entirely different, obviously, planet, but she's a god to a lot of people. And the influence she has, she could come out and say whatever she wants, and millions and millions of people are going to be like, yes,
that's it.
What Taylor Swift says is gospel. And you could say the same thing. It's just celebrity, because Donald Trump can do the same thing.
Yes.
Right?
He does.
And he does. And he does tell his followers what to believe and how to believe it, and a lot of mistruths as well.
I think that's maybe where some of the criticism comes in with Taylor Swift as well from some of her fans. This isn't necessarily Time Magazine criticism or stuff like that, but just that she doesn't necessarily speak out in certain things. So especially with the war between Israel and Hamas, some celebrities have come out and made statements. Others have been really, really quiet, and fans are sort of asking and some even demanding for some sort of statement.
Fox News trying to go after her. She attended a fundraiser in which Ramek Mali, that doesn't sound right. But there was a comedian who was raising money for Palestine, and she attended it.
Okay.
And now people are calling for a boycott of her.
You know what? That's the biggest statement I've actually ever seen her make in terms of politics is attending a fundraiser, because she notoriously doesn't really share any political opinions, which, I mean, to each their own, right? I'm someone who doesn't necessarily think that each celebrity has to be an activist as well. It's nice when you see celebrities who are able to point fans in the direction of like, hey, you know what? I might not be the most knowledgeable about this, but here are people who are doing really good grassroots work in their community. Let's pay attention to them. Let's amplify their voices. But because, like you said, you know, she says one thing, everyone believes it. Everyone goes with it. She can wear something and people will buy it out. She can style her hair a certain way and everyone will be doing that as well.
That can't be easy. Like, it really can't be easy being Taylor Swift. And, like, maybe the billions of dollars that you have
that
now
does help.
after your movie, your Golden Globe nomination, but I don't think we've ever gone one show.
No.
Like, at least the podcast, we've never gone one show, I don't think, without mentioning Taylor Swift. And on Trending Now, she's there every day.
I know.
Because she's trending every day.
I think my first ever Trending Now story was a Taylor Swift story when Midnights came out. The show
But that's the other thing. She put out, like, how many albums she put out this year? She put out her re-releases, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
At least one re-release, but...
I think it's 2 re-releases this year, because I believe it was 1989 and Speak Now were both this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Which both went to #1.
Oh, yeah. But have you listened to like the re-releases though? So I love them actually because I was a kid when most of these came out and I found them so nostalgic and especially Fearless. Super fun when I was a kid, right? But did I like understand the depths
the nuances?
of the love and the breakups and the heartbreak? No. Did I listen to it like crazy when it came out in 2020 again and all of a sudden I'm an adult and I've been through all of these things? Oh yeah, I did.
Red was my favorite album. That one came out that was like my college album, but Taylor Swift, You Belong With Me, whatever, that was one of the first ones.
It's on Fearless,
that was a song that like me and my buddies, and I've told this story, me and my buddies used to mosh pit to that story, to that song at like school dances.
I love that.
So every time it would come on, we'd get in a circle, and then once it got to that part where it's like, Can't You See You Belong With Me, that's where we started pushing each other.
Then you mosh pit.
Then we mosh pit to Taylor Swift. We were ahead of the time. We were ahead of the curve.
I love that.
You got big plans for the weekend? We're getting close to Christmas. Are you ready for the holiday season?
I am full Christmas party mode for sure. I mean, December birthday, like Taylor Swift. I was always very much like Christmas is after my birthday kind of deal, and my parents were really like they respected that as a kid. And now my boyfriend's Christmas from December 1st on.
Oh really?
So, yes,
he's the diehard Christmas guy. Is he
kind of like?
Do you guys put it like? Is there a tree? Is
a tree? So I've never had a tree before. My family did like the same artificial tree my whole life, but we're not super festive. And then in all my other like apartments where I've lived on my own or with roommates, like I just never really bothered. I go home for Christmas. I don't think too much about it. So for the first time ever, we went and got a real tree and ornaments. And I'm allergic to pine, so that was fun.
Did you not know that before?
I did a little bit, but I'm not frequently around pine trees. You know, like I kind of forget about it.
That's good. I got my little tree. Apartment sized. Same idea. I didn't do anything. Didn't decorate my apartment. I was like, just But during the pandemic, I was like, you know what? I need something to like get out of this funk. Like it was the first Christmas of the pandemic 2020 and I've had one ever since and it's the same like little tiny one, but it's a real one every year.
I love that. I wanted a mini one, but he's very hell-bent on the big one.
Well, thank you for doing this. I know you got a show to get ready for.
I do.
I know, so I'll let you go. My thanks to Emily Taylor for joining me on today's show, and my thanks to you as well, because you know what? We couldn't do the show without your support. So make sure you like and subscribe to CHCH Podcast so you never miss an episode of this show. And make sure to check out Trending Now on all your social medias at Trending Now CHCH on Twitter/X, on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Snapchat. You can subscribe to CHCH Trending Now. And as mentioned, to catch all of our podcasts, you go to chch.com/podcast, or if you happen to be watching this show, you can subscribe by scanning that QR code on your screen. My thanks to Mike Corsten for directing today's episode. One more time, thank you for listening. And from all of us here at CHCH, I'm Louie Butko. Have a great day.